Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Frag Cannons. That's what they're known as, or Fragmentation Cannons to use their official name. A powerful but specialised weapon type in Elite Dangerous. They excel in close range engagements and are particularly effective against large ships and subsystems due to their high burst damage potential. However, they are less effective in long range and against small fast moving targets. So how can engineering take these effective shotguns that you can strap to the outside of your ship and make them better? Well, I've got my nice Cobra Mark V and I'm in the market for some engineering on frag cannons. So let's take a look. So I'm here at Wolf 397 at Trophy Camp with an engineer who can be unlocked quite early on in the game, Todd the Blaster McQuinn. Now he specialises in railguns, cannons, multi-cannons and also what we're looking for, which is also fragmentation cannons. The Frag Cannon. Now the Frag Cannon comes with several engineering types. You've got double shot, you've got efficient, high capacity, lightweight, overcharged, rapid fire and sturdy. Now Todd will take your frag cannon to level 3, although there are other engineers in the Elite Dangerous galaxy that you can unlock a little bit further on in the game that can take it right up to G5. But for the purpose of this particular build, I'm happy with level 3 and the experimental effects that you can pop on there. Now, Todd the Blaster, you can discover him via common knowledge, and if you get this meeting requirements you only have to earn more than 15 bounty vouchers, which with the current power play going should be quite easy. So here's the thing, if you can provide him 100,000 credits worth of bounty vouchers, then you'll unlock him. Alright, then the reputation gain, you can craft modules for a major increase, hand in alliance bounty vouchers to Trophy Camp as well. Either way, we're going for the premise that we've unlocked Todd the Blaster McQuinn, very early on engineer, but there you go. Double shot is particularly popular with players who want to lay quite a bit of damage down against their target. As you can see here, double shot allows a double shot burst of fire per trigger pull, but at the cost of decreased range, and also you'll start burning through your ammunition. Those 2 volleys per trigger pull can lay an awful lot of damage down, but you're really going to have to get right up that opponent's trumpet to start layering it down, and perhaps gimbaled weapons may give you an added increased bonus to getting in there and getting your damage on target. But like I say, if you're going to be there out bounty hunting for the long haul, then this might not be for you, because you will burn through your ammunition. So you might have to be looking at going back to stations to rearm, or even synthesizing additional ammunition if you're out there giving people a little bit of trouble. Second choice now, we've got that of efficient weapon. This is something I haven't really used, to be honest with you. I didn't ever feel it very compelling to use efficient weapon on any of my weapon builds, although I'm sure some commanders do. So efficient weapon reduces the power and heat generation of your fragmentation cannon, and it's useful for ships with limited power or thermal management problems. You'll get a little bit of extra kick with an 8% increase in damage and an 8% damage per second increase, and a reduced thermal load of laying that damage against your opponent of 37.5% at level 1. And that's great. As you can see, the thermal load decreases as you go through the steps. So if you've got a problem with heat on your ship, perhaps efficient weapon could really be for you. Now, one of the first major problems I've found with frag cannons, or fragmentation cannons if you want to call them officially, is that ammo clip size. I don't like burning through my preciously gained materials to resynthesize ammunition, down to the fact that the weapon has a small clip size. High capacity magazine is an engineering feature that will allow you to increase your ammo clip size as you go through the rankings. like you say, I'm here right at level 3, and you can see I've got 100% ammo clip size here and ammo maximum reserve as well. How many shots I can have in reserve. You do get increased power draw, increased mass, because you've got to put those shotgun shells somewhere. So if you're the commando who doesn't like spending your preciously hard-earned materials, then by all means, this could be for you. Now let's look at lightweight mount. Never really seen the need for this, to be perfectly honest with you. I've never really been worried about weight for any of my builds. Frag cannons to the outside of an exploration ship, then this might be for you. But there are better options that you could use for an exploration build. Either way, however, this module will decrease the weight significantly and improve power efficiency. Now, I don't find it really compelling, but it's really up to you. Next engineering effect. Overcharged weapon is a real doozy and is a contender for what I'm going to be putting on this build. It increases the raw damage at the cost of increased heat and power draw. If you've got good heat management, then this could be the thing for you, because the more times you press that trigger, you're going to be incurring a lot of heat, but you're also going to be laying down a hell of a lot more damage. It's a favourite for maximising that damage output, especially on ships that have got good heat and power capabilities. It really is something to consider, because the damage buffs are absolutely huge, which, as you can see here, right, at the 3rd level, 30% more damage. You could really rip through an anaconda here. You really could, right? I mean, look at that. Overcharged weapon, pip 1, 30%. At pip 3, 50%. Oh my god. But look at the distributor draw as well, and also look at the thermal load. This, married with another experimental effect on top of this, which will come on later on in this video, could be the key for you being an absolute badass in the Elite Dangerous Galaxy. So the next one we want to talk about now is rapid fire modification. Yes, you'll get an increased rate of fire. Yes, you'll get a slightly increased rate of damage. Your reload time will be slightly decreased, but there'll be an increase in jitter, and you'll get slightly less damage per shot, although your damage per second will go up because of the volume of damage you're laying out, the volume of shots you're laying out. So rapid fire is great for increasing fire rate at the cost of that individual shot damage, and is best suited for that spray and pray approach for close range combat. You really have to get right up that ship's trumpet and then pull those triggers to get that rapid fire shot right at them. Could be good for taking out anacondas and the bigger ships. Mid-range ships, I don't know, I'd be more tempted to go for something like overcharged weapon or double shot. Completely up to you. The downside of this is that you are going to burn through your ammo stocks like there's no tomorrow. You're going to be going back and forth that station like the Billio, or you're going to be resynthesizing your ammunition and burning through your precious materials, which I've always said is the real currency of Elite Dangerous these days, by recharging your ammo stocks. Finally, we're on for sturdy mount. Yes, you're going to get increased armor piercing with your shot. The integrity of this module is going to be considerably higher, and the thermal load will decrease slightly. However, it's going to be a heavier old unit, so your mass is going to go up. If none of these things matter to you, then this could be something. Armor piercing could be great of ripping through a ship's hull, but to be honest with you, I think there are better builds out there than that of sturdy mount. Now, there are currently 10 Fragmentation Cannon experimental effects that you can apply to the engineering that we've just discussed. Now, these experimental effects can significantly alter how your modules can perform, modules or weapons that is, in combat. Each effect adds unique capabilities or a utility that can be complemented with the various combat strategies you want to use. Now, let's take a look at these. Now in no particular order we have Corrosive Shell. Now this applies a corrosive debuff to the target's hull, reducing hull resistance to all damage types by 20%. This debuff lasts for about 8 seconds. It's highly effective for builds focused on hull damage and doesn't stack however, so it's only worthwhile having one weapon with Corrosive Shell on a build. It's ideal if you want to do player v player and player v environment builds to aim to maximise hull destruction. You can commonly pair these up with other weapons such as plasma accelerators or railguns to exploit the reduced hull resistance to your damage. Next up is a great effect called Drag Munitions. It applies a drag effect to the target, significantly reducing its engine performance and preventing the use of boost. And this effect, though, only lasts 4 seconds per hit. Targets become easier to track and therefore engage, especially if they rely on manoeuvrability or fleeing, especially if you're going after, say, a medium to smaller ship. It does stack with repeated hits, ensuring the effect stays active for longer. Excellent in PvP to pin down fast, evasive, nimbler ships like fighters, and in PvE to help track those smaller NPC ships, so you can control more agile targets. Next up is that of Incendiary rounds. Does exactly what it does on the tin. Its effect converts 40% of all kinetic damage to thermal damage, heating up your opponent. It improves performance against shields which are weak to thermal damage. It reduces the weapon's overall effectiveness against hulls which are weaker to kinetic damage, and slight increase in heat generation for your own ship. It does balance out Fragmentation Cannons' natural weakness against shields, making them more versatile, and it's ideal for builds where frags are used as primary weapons without relying on shield stripping support weapons such as the power play weapon, the Cyto Scrambler, or perhaps even a thermal vent beam. Favourite amongst commanders, that of Screening Shell. It drastically decreases reload times and increases effectiveness against enemy munitions, such as missiles. A fantastic effect, something that I think I'll be applying to my build here today, with a reload time of 50% less, so 2.5 seconds to reload. You marry that with rapid fire, or even double shot, or overcharged, and you've really got something that can lay some damage down as well. Most effective, like I said, with rapid fire builds to create a screen of projectiles flying towards your opponent. Less useful, however, against energy weapons or in PvE, where missiles are perhaps less common. Niche applications in PvP, particularly against missile-heavy builds, and often seen on ships with limited utility slots for point defense modules. Something to consider, and that's something I'm considering for this build here today. Down does exactly what it says on the tin, with key components being replaced with versions crafted from lightweight materials. The mass will go down by 10% of your ship, so you really are taking out the bulk of this particular unit. There's no impact on damage, range or functionality here though, and it just reduces the total weight of your ship, which will therefore improve jump range, manoeuvrability and speed. Beneficial for lightweight ship builds such as racing ships, who might want to have a frag cannon on there as a defensive weapon. Dazzel shell. Shells that will temporarily reduce a target's acuity upon impact. That's the thing, you really are blinding them like rabbits in a headlight, that sort of thing. It's compelling, although I haven't seen many people use it. However, one really good one to use is that of Corrosive Shell. Flow control, advanced software and internal sensors to regulate energy flow. Good if you're finding your problem is with power on your ship. Double braced if you want to improve your module's survivability. Again, I'm not really in and down with these sort of things. Also, multi-servos. This is actually quite interesting, where additional servos are allowing the weapon to fire safely at an increased rate. less likely to get problems with your modules. So that is quite all the experimental effects. The ones I would go for: incendiary rounds, corrosive shell, and let's face it, screening shell as well. Drag munitions, probably key, perhaps on one of them to slow your target down. Now, choosing the right experimental effect is going to be key for your particular playstyle and depending on your overall ship build, combat role, and what you intend to go out fighting. For hull focus builds, I would typically go with corrosive shell, which I think is a must-have for maximising damage against those heavily armoured ships. For mobility control, you'll need drag munitions for locking down those ships in case they want to jump away. For shield versatility, incendiary rounds. Helps your frag cannons engage against shielded targets. And for defensive, screening shell. All in all, it's going to be down to pairing the experimental effects with your actual engineering effects. Perhaps a single corrosive shell frag combined with others using incendiary or drag munitions is a nice balanced loadout. Drag munitions synergizes with, say, disabling subsystems for that finishing maneuver. Really consider that of ammo management. Effects like incendiary rounds and corrosive shells require careful ammo conservation as well as rapid fire and double shot. And also keep an eye on your heat. Well, hopefully you found this video useful on the Frag Cannon, a really powerful tool, a really powerful weapon. You can also get pacifier Frag Cannons, which are not gimbaled as well, a part of power play. They have their own bonuses, and I've got a video on YouTube all about those. If you can master a Frag Cannon and its experimental effects, that can allow you, the commander around the galaxy, to customize your ship for specific roles, you could turn these weapons into an even more devastating tool than what they really are. Just think the Doom shotgun, but strap it to your ship. I've been Ricardo, thanks very much for watching. Hope you found the video useful. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you on the next video or the next stream. Take care.